lots of comparing with measurement. And today we're going to do a little bit more comparing, but we are going to build cube trains or something else that you have. And we're going to use the cube train as our unit of measurement. Can you say unit of measurement? Yeah. So the unit of measurement is what we are using to measure an object. So for us, a lot of times our unit of measurement is 1 cube. And when we're measuring something, we start stacking and we find out how many cubes it takes. So if you have cubes at your house, they probably don't look like mine because these are school cubes, but you might have a toy kind of cube. Like I saw in some of your videos, Legos that you were using, or these bigger stackable cubes. If you have some kind of cube, that would be a great thing to use today as your unit of measurement. But not everybody has cubes at their house. I only have a little bit of cubes that I brought home from school. Before that, I didn't have any cubes at my house, and that's okay. So I'm gonna give you an idea of some other things you could use. If you have cubes, use the cubes. That's the best option. But if you don't have cubes, maybe you could ask someone in your family if you could borrow some pennies. That doesn't mean you get to keep them. It means you get to use them for math and give them right back, okay? So maybe you could ask if you could borrow some pennies, and this could be your unit of measurement. If you don't have pennies, that's okay. I have another choice for you. Maybe you could use some pieces of pasta. Some pieces of pasta. And maybe you have the same kind of pasta as Mrs. Powell, or maybe you have macaroni and cheese pasta, or pasta that looks like a shell. You could try and use pasta. If you don't have cubes, and you don't have pennies, and you don't have pasta, maybe you have some kind of cracker. Like if you have goldfish, that would be a really cool unit of measurement to use. Or some kind of cracker that you could use as a unit of measurement, okay? So I want you to pause the video and I want you to go find your unit of measurement. You probably need about 10 of them, 10 things. Ready? Pause. Okay, I hope you paused the video, you found your unit of measurement, and you're back with me. Before I get out the worksheet and show you how we're going to do our measuring today, I want to remind you of a couple of things. When we're doing measurement, it's important to be precise. Can you say precise? Ooh, that's a big long word and I really like it. We have to be very careful and specific when we're measuring, because if we're not precise, it's not going to be accurate. It's not going to be true, okay? So one way that we can be precise is to start in the same place. Do you remember when I was telling you, if you start a race and erasing these two objects and the pencil goes way up here, is that really fair? No. So we're going to always start in the same place. If the pencil is laying this way on the worksheet, the cubes will start at the same spot. Okay? The other thing is, we cannot have spaces between our units of measurement. So if we put 1 cube here, that means our next cube needs to go right next door. It can't be sitting with a space. Or if we're doing pennies, both your pennies need to touch each other. There can't be space between them when we're measuring. Okay, so we have to start in the same place and there's no gaps or spaces. Got it? All right, so I hope you have your unit of measurement. I want you to set it aside for a minute, because first you're gonna watch me do a few, and then we will do a couple together, and that's when you get to use your cubes. On this math, they tell us how many cubes they want us to compare with. So here I have 1 acorn, and they want me to compare it with how many cubes? What number is that? 3, with 3 cubes. So let's make sure my cube train is 3 cubes long. 1, 2, 3. Remember we said we need to start in the same place, and look at, they gave me this line to tell me where to start. So I'm going to line my cube up with the bottom of the acorn at that line. Do you see how I'm starting in the same place? Now, which one is taller? The cube train or the acorn? Which one is taller, the cube train or the acorn? Yeah, the cube train is taller because there's 3 cubes, taller than 1 acorn. And we need to circle the one that's bigger. So I'm going to try my best. Oh, I'm just going to circle the cubes because I know that 3 cubes is taller than 1 acorn. Okay, let's try another one. How many cubes are they wanting me to use here? 7. You're right, 7. So I already have 1, 2, 3. Let's count on to get to 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cubes. Now, should I put it up and down? No, that's not a fair race because look, this is going horizontally. It's going lengthwise. We're not measuring the height. They want us to measure the length. So to make it a fair race, I have to start at the same spot and go the same direction. Wait, before I measure, let me ask you this. Could I do this to my cubes? Would that be fair? No, that wouldn't be fair because we put what in between? Gaps in between. And we said, no gaps. They all need to be touching to make it accurate, precise. Which one do you think is longer? The cube train or this leaf? Oh, it might be even a pine cone. Which one do you think is longer? Yeah, the pine cone is shorter and the cubes are longer. So I'm going to circle the cubes because they are longer. Okay? We're going to skip 5 and 6 and we're going to move on to number 7. Number 7 has a tree branch. And how many cubes do they want me to use with number 7? What number is that? 5. Okay, but I have 7. So how many do I need to take away to get to 5? 7, but I need to get to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is how many I need. How many do I need to take away? Yeah, 7 minus 2 is the same as 5. We got 5 now. Okay, we're going to start it on one side. We're going to line it up. Which one is longer? The cube train or the branch? Yeah, this time the branch is longer than the cube train. The cube train is shorter. So we're going to circle the branch because it is longer. Okay? Now it's your turn to use your unit of measure to help me do some examples. We're going to need your pencil, a crayon, and a spoon or something you eat with, a fork, a spoon, something you have at your house that you eat with. Okay? Pause the video, go find them, and then turn it back on. I hope you paused and you're back and ready to go. The first thing I'm going to do is write a number 1 on my paper because this is my first example. And for my first example, I'm going to be using my crayon. So I'm going to lay my crayon out really nicely. Now, next to your crayon, I'm going to tell you the number of cubes you're going to compare it to. The number of cubes you're comparing it to. I want you to use 3 cubes. Remember, if you don't have cubes, that's okay. You could use 3 pennies or 3 pieces of pasta. So set your crayon down and let's build a cube train of 3. Okay, now it's time for us to compare. Are you going to start your cube train over here? No, that's not fair, right? It needs to start in the same place. Remember, if you have pennies or something else to do it with, that's okay. Now, looking at your crayon in your cubes, which one is longer? Which one is longer? Because you don't have the same cubes as me, yours might be a different answer than mine, and that's okay. Because, for example, if I was using the pasta, 1, 2, trying not to have gaps, 3, my pasta would be longer than the crayons. But I'm using cubes, and my crayon is longer than, my crayon is longer than the cubes. But maybe you have big cubes, and your big cubes are longer. So on your paper, I want you to circle the one that is longer. Is the crayon longer or the cubes longer? I want you to circle the one that's longer. So for me, the crayon is longer, but maybe it's different at your house. Maybe you have something you're measuring with that's longer for you to circle. Okay? We did number 1. Now we're going to do number 2. Number 2. All right, for number 2, I want you to get your spoon. Your spoon or the fork, whatever item you found. Okay, and for this one, you are going to use 7 cubes or 7 pennies, 7 of your unit of measurement. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, I'm going to compare. Which one is longer? Is my cube train longer or my spoon longer? Yeah, my spoon is longer. If you need to pause to check yours, go ahead and do that now, because you might have a little baby spoon. Maybe you're using your little brother or sister spoon and it's a fun little small spoon. Or you might have a really big spoon. So yours might not look the same as mine. But you're going to circle whichever one is bigger on your paper. Is the spoon bigger on your paper or the cubes bigger on your paper? On my paper, the spoon is bigger. Okay? Now, for this last one, this is going to be your challenge. So, after you turn the video off, you are going to go get your toothbrush. I hope you have a toothbrush at your house because you should brush your teeth every single day. And for this one, I want you to compare it to 4 cubes or 4 units of measurement. In your video, I want to see your toothbrush and your 4 cubes lined up. You don't have to have your face in it, but I can hear your voice just like this. You can hold your camera above and you could show me your toothbrush and your cubes or your pennies or your pasta or your crackers, whatever you're using, and I want you to tell me which one is longer. So maybe you say, my toothbrush is longer than 4 cubes, okay? This is your challenge to show me in your video. I want to see your toothbrush compared to 4 cubes